Rome. I just left the hotel and I have no clue where exactly I'm going. All I know is that I'm going to Colosseum, and it's going to be quite a colossal waste of time because I don't know the route. All I have is a map and River Tiber to guide me. Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to follow this river and I think I'm going to get my way to Colosseum. Let's see how fast or how soon I get there. You know, the more you travel around the world, the more you realize that there are few things that are always universal. For example, the classic case of drying your clothes in the balcony right in the front of the building. Now, a lot of people would argue that this ruins the beauty of the house. For me, it just adds to the beauty of the house and gives me great insights into the fashion sense of people in Rome. On my way to the Colosseum, I also spotted this very cute little gas station in Rome, which is pretty much a hole in the wall. And I tried to compare it with the lavish, really elaborate gas stations that we have in Dubai. And I just realized how different cities can be, right? I guess it's these little things that give so much character to any city. So I've been walking for the last 20 minutes and there's absolutely no sign of the Colosseum. Actually, my gut tells me, which is also known as my map, tells me I'm very old-fashioned. Yeah, I don't believe in GPS and all that. I love my old paper maps. So my map tells me that we're kind of like halfway through. I'm still following River Tiber, as you can see in the background. Yeah. And I'll keep walking. And I think another 15 minutes, I guess, we should be there at the Colosseum. And I just can't wait to be there. See you then. After walking endlessly and tirelessly, finally I have spotted the Colosseum and I'm very happy. Wait, I'll show it to you. One sec. Can you see there? Can you see that? Okay, before I'm run over by any car, let me take you closer to the Colosseum. Yeah, come. After a couple of accidents, I finally reached the Colosseum and the view was absolutely spectacular and awe-inspiring. Walking about in this area, I realized that there was a smaller version of the Colosseum as well, which is very close to the Colosseum. Why they made it, what is the history, I couldn't really understand, but it reminded me of Hagia Sophia. Hagia Sophia in Istanbul also has a smaller version around the main Hagia Sophia, which I find very intriguing and very interesting. If you have any information as to why they make smaller versions of these monuments, please comment below. And just look how massive this amphitheater is, man. Whoa! I think even if I increase the size of my selfie stick by 5 times, it wouldn't be able to capture the entire thing, dude. I mean, the first thought that comes to my mind right now is this is like modern time super stadiums, no? This can easily capacitate some 50,000, 60,000 odd people. And come to think of it, this is the actual place where all the Gore festival would happen back in the day in ancient Roman. You know what I mean? Animals and gladiators and criminals will be slaughtered and there'll be blood all over. In fact, one of the guides was just saying this, that at the inaugural of the Colosseum, there were some 5,000 animals that were slaughtered. It's day 2 of Rome roamings and right now I'm actually going to the Vatican City and I'm actually walking towards the tram station right now. I'll be taking the tram to downtown. I'll be going to this Piazza Venezia. There are lots of piazzas, by the way, in Rome and I was wondering what it means and I asked one of the locals here. Piazza means markets or squares. And it's pretty interesting actually. So the whole plan is to go to Piazza Venezia, from there go to Pantheon, then Spanish Steps, and then walk to another country, Vatican City. This is going to be a lot of excitement, man, packed in just one day. So right behind me is the tram station, as you can see. Yeah, I wonder if you can see the tram as well. Well, there it is. Yep, there it is. You can see that, right? You don't really get the tram tickets on the tram, but there are special shops here in Rome which are called tabacchi. I'm guessing that means tobacco shops. These are tobacco shops here where you can buy your tram tickets. Cool, huh? And here I am in the tram, my first tram journey in Rome, and I'm kind of excited. Doors closing. I wonder what they say that in Italian though. I'm just waiting for the doors to close now. 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 The tram finally took off and dropped me at Piazza Venezia, from where I started walking towards the Pantheon. In my 2 to 3 kilometers walk towards the Pantheon, I must have spotted some 2,500 churches, each one of them so beautiful and so gorgeous. And not to forget the street musicians, the street performers, the roadside cafes, people eating, chilling, making merry, and of course, the space crunch. When I saw this, that people were kind of struggling for space here in Rome, suddenly it felt good and I was transported back to the streets of Karol Bagh. Ahaha, what a beautiful feeling. Alright, the walk to the Pantheon is through a very, very cute alley. Look at that. How amazing is that? It almost feels that I'm in Chandni Chowk with some really cool cafes on both sides and some really quirky shops as well. Look at this. Cool cafe. Okay, I have to show you this. This is such a cute, pretty shop that sells leather products with, you know, and these products are actually made in the shop. Such cool stuff. Actually, I'm going to take you in and introduce you to the lady who actually makes all these amazing products. Hey. Hi. Hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Antonella.
And you make all these amazing products.
Where are you from?
I'm from Dubai. And
Dubai.
yes.
Beautiful Dubai.
Oh, thank you. But you are more beautiful. And you make all these bags.
Sì, only
See in Italian means yes.
I made.
Yeah, you make.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
43 years
for 43 years.
in the shop.
Wow, so cool. And I love your glasses.
Thank you, belli, eh?
Can I wear them? Can I try them?
Prego.
Okay. Whoa, I cannot see anything right now. You have really high power. Like, I cannot see anything.
Sì, sono da vista.
But these are really cool glasses, I must say.
Thank you.
Good job. And thank you so much.
Grazie.
Say bye.
Bye. Thank you.
For one of those rare times, the journey seemed far more exciting than the destination. I mean, Pantheon could really wait. I was just happy drinking in the local flavors of the city, the graffiti on the walls, or for that matter, this man who seemed to have jumped out of this statue. Or fellow Italians sitting rather pretty, chilling and musing. And yes, I finally reached the Pantheon, the adventures of which coming very, very soon in the next episode of Travel Locations. In Rome, there are lots of pizzas or lots of piazzas, and my mind is like really boggled right now with the number of piazzas that I've read on my map. This piazza, that piazza. What does a piazza mean? Somebody can please tell me that right. So finally I figured out piazza means a market square, and right now we are at a piazza that reads Piazza della Rotonda. This is the same piazza where you have the very famous Pantheon. Ta-da! Yep, that's the one. It's a famous Roman church, which was not really a church back in the day. It was actually a Roman temple. Pantheon itself means, many gods, and this housed many Roman gods. And then it became a church dedicated to Saint Mary and martyrs. You can see there are 8 columns. Let's just not assume. And let's count how many columns it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has 8 columns. These are granite columns that were actually imported from Egypt. I'm most curious to know how many people it takes to hug one column. Let's check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, here we are. We tried to hug the columns, and these are my friends, my new friends in Rome. Hey, what's your name?
Monica.
Monica.
I'm Bella Linda.
Bella Linda. Did I get your name right? Bella Linda.
Bella Linda, yeah.
Okay, that's Garfield. Hi, Garfield.
Hi.
And that's Mike. We tried to hug the column, except the security guard got really angry, and we got shouted at. But I guess it takes around 4 to 5 people. 4 people? 4 people, 4 to 5 people to hug the column. Say bye, guys. My heart pounded with excitement as I walked through the gates of Pantheon. It's a perfect hemisphere as wide as it is tall, 140 feet, and that is Oculus, the only source of light, which also acted as a ventilator for the sacred fires of the temple back in the day. Wait, so when it rains, it not only rains outside but inside as well? Wow, that's interesting. In fact, a local guide told me that Pantheon has intrigued the architects around the world so much that one of its blocks was actually stolen so that the perfect architecture of the church could be studied. I'm not too sure how true that story is, but I was definitely blown away by this marvel and its history. Right behind me is a building called Vittoriano, which stands in sharp contrast to the entire city of Rome because this is the only white building that I've seen so far. This, by the way, is also the newest building in Rome, one of the newest buildings in Rome. And the idea of new is also pretty funny. This was actually built in 1921. I kid you not, I was talking to a few local men here and they told me that the city hasn't really seen any new construction, any major new construction ever since the Second World War, which is in such sharp contrast to a place where I come from. Like Dubai has, a new building, a new construction every 42 minutes, and this city hasn't really seen any major construction ever since 1942. Wow. What we're going to do right now is we're going to actually go into the building and right on top and give you the bird's eye view of the city. It's going to be pretty exciting. Come follow me. Well, if you're thinking that why this tap has been left unattended by the authorities, why is this leaking? Well, that's the way it is here in Rome. In fact, you'll find a lot of these taps that are leaking all over the city in every nook and cranny. Fun fact, in 1 AD, the average water available to per Italian was 1,000 liters. In today's time, it's 500 liters available to per family. It totally breaks my heart to see, that water is available and is free flowing in some countries and water is so scarce in so many other countries. Let me try to turn this off. It doesn't help. Let me drink water instead. It's cold and it's nice. Free-flowing water led my way to the famous fountains. Wow, did you see the alliteration there? Free-flowing famous fountains. No, never mind that. Yes, it was time for me to go and explore Piazza Navona, which is known for two very famous fountains. But yes, on my way, I had a gelato stop. Okay, make it two. But speaking of gelatos, if you're in Rome, you have to try different flavors. My personal favorite was rice gelato. Actually, Italy is known for rice gelatos, so maybe you want to try that. After downing these sinful delights and gaining a couple of pounds, I finally reached my destination, Piazza Navona. Walking through the streets of Rome is almost like reading a Dan Brown book. You remember Angels and Demons? You remember the fountain where the cardinal was thrown? I'll show you the same fountain. That's the fountain. The fountain of four rivers at Piazza Navona. Come, let's get closer. The fountain was designed by a famous Italian sculptor called Bernini, and the statues symbolize that were considered the world's four greatest rivers: the Nile, the Danube, the Plata, and our very own Ganga Maiya, the Ganges. After a quick lesson in history, I found the cutest thing in all of Italy. I stood there for some time, quite unsure whether this was for real or a soft toy. To test, I made some sounds. It was a real dog. My day ended with the shortest but the most epic love story ever, followed by a heartbreak. Aww. Day 3 of Rome roamings, and today I just thought that I'm going to skip the hotel breakfast and hop across the street and look for a nice breakfast joint. And a typical Italian breakfast consists of a cup of coffee and something sweet. So I think I'm just at the right place, a place that actually means sweet. That's Dolce Bar. I'm standing at the end of the flea market, which is in the Trastevere area of Rome, and I'm a little underwhelmed after taking a round of this, because this is almost like a 2-kilometer stretch of Dragon Mart or Palika Bazaar. Just a couple of shops were pretty interesting, very quirky stuff, and I bought myself curtains that I'm trying to convert them into jackets. So here I am in the non-touristy side of Rome. As you can see, there are not too many people around. I'm actually going to a restaurant that has been highly recommended by a girl I met on the train, and she absolutely swore by the food that these guys serve. It's a restaurant run by a couple. The lady is the chef and the guy waits the table. And I'm superlative tired. I must have walked the entire day. I'm superlative hungry. The food be better good. Can somebody please tell me where the restaurant is? But I'm excited. Local food, here I come. After walking endlessly for almost 2 hours and missing my way, I have finally made it to this place, which is pretty much in the back of Beyond. The name of this place is Farine La Pizza. It's run by this amazing couple. That's Carlo. Hi, Carlo.
Hi.
And that's Francesca. The good thing is that the lady of the restaurant is the chef of the restaurant, and Carlo is somebody who looks after the guests. So good to have you guys here. And what should we try today? Tell me. I'm a vegetarian, so what are you serving me? A margarita? Yeah?
Pastorale.
Pastorale?
Focaccia.
Focaccia. Super. Focaccia, pastorale and margarita. Very happy, guys.
Bye.
Yay! The place looks just so amazing, and let me tell you, these guys were very sweet, because the restaurant was not open, but they are preparing a couple of dishes for me, just for me. And look at the menu, the variety and the price. It's dirt cheap, man. And most of it is vegetarian. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here. And my food is already here. As you can see, there's quite a top shot of the food. That's margarita, focaccia and pastorale, and it's nice and fresh. So once you're done with your tour of Pantheon and Colosseum, please make sure that you come to this place. It's called Farine La Pizza, and it's only 1.5 kilometers from Roma Termini. So it's a 1.5 kilometer walk, about 20 minutes walk. And trust me, the love and the hospitality of this place, and of course the amazing food here is going to totally make your day. That's focaccia with salt and rosemary. That's pastorale with potatoes, onions, sheep cheese, and marjoram, which I'm guessing is an herb. And this is our very own margarita. So exploring Rome City on a Sunday is a bad idea because the restaurants are closed, the lines are long and never ending, and not moving at all. And the sun is absolutely merciless. Like, who goes to Europe and comes back with a tan? Hey, that will be me, standing outside St. Angelo's castle and feeling much older than the castle itself. In those 1.5 long hours of waiting, thankfully there was some company. At least for my Marvel Comics shoes. So the queue to the castle must be really long, but the climb to the castle was just so much fun. It was like walking back in time, 123 AD. Got tired also in between, but every time I felt a little tired, I handed over my camera to another tourist and posed happily for the camera. In fact, the entire castle is divided into 3 levels, and every level gives super spectacular 360-degree view of the entire city. So the queue to the castle was like really long and painfully never ending, but I guess it's worth every minute spent in the queue, and it's worth every penny spent on the ticket as well. Wait, it's a Sunday. They don't really charge on a Sunday is what I came to know. I saved myself 10 euros. It's free. So remember, if you're coming on a Sunday, you don't really have to pay for the tickets, but if you are coming on a weekday, it's 10 euros the entry to the castle. And the views, man, just so amazing. And that's River Tiber, by the way, in the background. You know what was most exciting thing about St. Angelo's castle was that from here you could actually see another country. The dome that you see in the background, yep, that one, that is actually St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City, which is a country in another country. I felt like a happy, excited kid in Disneyland. Like the smile just wouldn't go away from my face, man. I was just so happy. I took the last flight of steps to the top of the castle and of course took a couple of pictures and simply enjoyed the views. I mean, the River Tiber slithered by like a green ribbon, you know, the wind caught in my hair, the chitter-chatter of the tourists, the click-clacks of the selfies, and of course the gorgeous history that spread across me. Oh man, I absolutely loved it and just couldn't get enough of it. I stood there for a couple of hours at the top of the castle and got ready for my next stops, Spanish Steps and Vatican City, coming very soon on Travel Locations. We are at the Vaga border of Rome and Vatican City. Yes, the other country is like another 10 steps away. The basilica that you can see in the background, that's St. Peter's Church. That's the Basilica of St. Peter's. So let's walk. What's most fascinating is the fact that there's a country within a country. It's almost like you have a house and one of the rooms is taken by somebody else. And that person has created his own world in that particular room, but it's in your house. And the entry to his house is actually through your house. So Vatican City has its own stamps, by the way, has its own mailing system. And yes, we're almost at the border. There'll be frisking, there'll be a security check, and that's it. We will be in another country. Where do I enter from? Hi, where do I enter from?
Rome.
Hi.
Vatican City is what? 2 steps away, right?
Romance.
Oh, this is Rome. This is Rome.
Rome.
And that's Vatican City.
Vatican.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Bello, ritorno, vita.
So the area of the country is 110 acres, which is like 1/8 of the New York Central Park. And it houses some 800 residents, which is like half the number of people in my building. Really small, man, really small. In fact, before going into the country, I took a round around the country, and that's like 2 miles, which is like 3.5 kilometers, and that's it. I could explore the entire country on foot in just 40 minutes. You know, I'm trying to go to another country for lunch. It's like as bizarre as that. That's the frisking. Yes, we're here in another country. That's Vatican City. It's not only our Prime Minister Narendra Modi who's been traveling around the world. In fact, it's the entire BJP, the entire RSS who's been doing that. You don't believe me, right? Watch this. The Saffron Brigade right behind me. So just to give you an idea, I'm actually standing in the center of this country and this is what the entire country looks like. I so wanted to go inside and explore the Sistine Chapel and Vatican museums, except the lines were just too long. So I decided to treat myself with some lunch. I spoke to a very beautiful Italian couple and discovered 2 hidden gems in Rome. All this and more coming very soon in the next episode of Travel Locations. Language can be sometimes a problem here in Italy because people don't really speak English here, but that's the fun of it, right? Because you speak to people in the universal language of gestures. How much for this? So it's a lot of fun, but I actually found a couple who has been very kind to tell me where to have lunch today. That's Albert. Hi Albert.
Hiyo, how are you?
I'm good. And that's Sarah. Hi Sarah.
Hi.
So you were telling me about a local restaurant here in Rome which I must try. So tell me the name of the restaurant.
The name is Enzo, which is just here a few hundred yards from here, and it's worth it because they make Italian, Roman actually, typical cuisine,
Okay.
and it's a really good price. So it's all homemade.
How much for one person?
Oh, about 25 euros, you know, just including drinks.
In fact, Sarah was telling me about a very interesting church there, Sarah.
Yes, and there is, you go down, there are stairs and you go in the basement that is really big.
And what's the name of the church?
The church is Santa Cecilia.
That's C-E-C-I-L-I-A.
Yeah.
Cecilia,
yeah,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
And actually you can find the ancient Roman house of the saint.
Okay.
And there is another church underneath the street level.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay. Wow.
it's really interesting to see.
And what area is this, if I may ask? That's Trastevere.
Trastevere. This is
Trastevere.
Yeah,
Trastevere.
Trastevere. Beyond the Tiber. So the river is just next door there
I don't know if
in
you
the
can see
background.
this.
Yeah.
That's River Tiber. Yes.
Yeah, and then this is beyond the Tiber River.
Okay.
So it's called Trastevere.
Trastevere.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Albert and Sarah. How do you say bye? Ciao.
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 Ciao. See you next time.
So here I am. I'm going to take Albert's and Sarah's suggestion. There are a couple of restaurants that I wanted to try here. One of them is Da Enzo, and the other one, if I guess it's closed on Sundays. There's another one that Albert suggested, and that's Roma Sparita. I can hear the church bells. You know, it's so amazing to be just walking through the streets of Rome because they're like so pretty and so quaint. And I hope I have a good lunch ahead of me because I'm like starving right now. No Zomato, no Expedia pages will ever tell you about this really quaint cafe called Da Enzo. I came to know about it only because I was talking to one of these guys at the hotel, and he told me that if you are a foodie, you have to try the food here at Da Enzo. In fact, there are a couple of people here also suggested me this place because everything that you get here, from meats to cheese, everything is organic. And the good thing is that every city has a concept of kilometer zero. This is that place. After that long essay on Da Enzo, I don't have good news to share with you. It's closed! So if you're planning to come to Rome and try this place on a Sunday, just remember that this is closed. I am hungry. Thankfully, I met Albert and Sarah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try the place that they suggested. It's called Roma Sparita. I hope I got the name right, and it's like another 1-minute walk from here. Let's go. Today is definitely not my day. I'm here at Roma Sparita and that's closed as well. I think I'll have to go back to the hotel. Really hungry. If you want to have lunch or dinner here at Roma Sparita, you have to book a table in advance. There you go. This is the square, by the way, that lady was telling me about. That's Piazza di Sicilia. Yeah. And that's the church she was talking about. Let's go inside. The church was indeed very beautiful. It had great history and all that, but I just couldn't concentrate because I was famished. All I could think of at that time was just food. Finally, I discovered something that dated back to 1860. Every third building in Rome is either 200 years old or 200 years old. And the best thing about Italy is that the food is amazing in practically every restaurant. I mean, even a margarita off the street tastes just so amazing. With a happy heart and a tummy full, I finally reached the Spanish Steps. So here we are at the famous Spanish Steps, also known as Piazza de España. I don't know why there's a G there, but that's the way it is. These are 131 steps. That will take us to the church there, as you can see in the background. Yeah, that's the one. And this place used to be quite a popular place back in the day because this place will attract a lot of French artists who will come here to seek some inspiration and invariably attract a lot of Italian women. And something really interesting about this place, in 1986 on the 20th of March, that is on my birthday, all great things happen on my birthday. On the 20th of March 1986, the first McDonald's was actually opened here. And that was not very well taken by the Italians, which is pretty ironical because if you see that street right opposite me, that street, I don't know, that place, that street is full of brands, you know, right from Gucci to Burberry to you name it and you have it. So yeah, here we are at the Spanish Steps. I'm dead tired right now, but I'm still going to go up. So yeah, come with me. We're almost there. And we're here, right at the top. I went inside the church, lit a couple of candles, and said a prayer for my family and friends with the hope that my journey to Florence is going to be as beautiful and as awesome.